Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, friends and enemies, Bakugan players, Yu-Gi-Oh players, Digimon activists, and then obviously we don't like any of you Fortnite players, please get out. Welcome to Inside the PFL, Season 12, Week 8. Holy crap, this is Week 8. I'm Jim, and I'm joined today by Drac.
Hello.
Hello.
The impromptu co-host.
And I love it. You'd love to see it.
The unpaid intern.
And I'm getting messages that are picked up by my microphone. I'm going to throw my phone away, and we're going to get started here with a battle that I believe my current co-host holds near and dear to his heart.
Yeah, this was a... So, to walk you through the battle, Trick Room does, very well against M1's team, because, all of his tanks are, quite fast. But funnily enough, I ended up not really needing Trick Room because of one particular mon.
With one particular set. And I'm very, very happy.
Set.
I will, yes, we'll start the battle here. And I'm very happy that we get to see that. Spoiler alert, because it's on the thumbnail. That mon is Crobat.
Oh, hell yeah.
Now,
I get the thumbnail.
Yeah, you get the thumbnail. And I knew from the second I saw this match, I was like, that's thumbnail worthy. It's not all that often that a mon just 6-0s a team.
Yeah. So, funnily enough, I hit webs because all my Trick Room mons are slower than all of M1's slowest mons and webs other than, Trampa. So, it's a win-win. I can either set up and get Crobat to be faster than Lopunny right here with the webs, and yeah.
And
it kind of goes downhill because Infiltrator is broke versus Klefki.
Yes, and this is something that I learned very forcefully in a Nuzlocke that I did recently, is that Infiltrator goes through screens, so that Supersonic Sky Strike was not blocked at all, and that was Air Slash, correct? That was Z Air Slash.
Z Air Slash.
And that's insane.
Yeah, so the Crobat was spec'd, very rigorously. It could live the fake out plus return combo from Lopunny, and just clap back with an air slash and kill it. Even if he had screens up because I have an Infiltrator. So
I think that's the moment when Feraligatr dies. M1 does throw out the GG.
Yeah, because without Giga Drain, he doesn't really have much. And I planned on Giga Draining the Lopunny the second time it came in.
Yeah, and you could just Giga Drain all your health back.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't even need Roost. You don't need anything like that. You're just going to get the health back. It's just going to be ridiculous. And that's something that we don't actually see all too often. We usually see Crobat delegated toward support for your team. A nice fast pivot. And I think that building him specially, being a special sweeper, was something that M1 just was not even close to prepared for.
No, I don't think so. And man, I just love Crobat. He's so cool. He gets so many good moves for both utility and offense.
Yeah, an insanely versatile mon.
Yeah, he's got enough health and defenses to be defensive, and enough speed that you don't really need to spec all that much into speed to outspeed everything. So you can kind of afford to be defensive anyway. So
and Poison Flying, correct me if I'm wrong, that is a unique typing to Crobat still. Even after
that, but that's the same evolution.
Oh yeah. But even after 20 years or so, Crobat's still, I think, the only Poison Flying type that exists.
I can't think of any others actually. Yeah.
I think he is unique.
That's pretty sick.
And 15 turns, which is totally an outlier. Because as we talk to Mike every single week, the games this season, on average, seem just so much longer than the games of previous seasons.
Yeah, which is additionally really funny because we moved up almost every single tank with recovery. Mm-hmm. We moved up so much bulk, and yet we're just getting better at being bulkier.
I think
something like this happens.
I think that overall, people are getting better at mons. They're not letting their win cons go down. They're playing around certain threats, and therefore just the games end up being longer.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's only really when you see something as ridiculous as a Crobat at +4 that there's no answer toward. Webs are up, so Lopunny's not doing anything. Everything else is dead through screens, that you see games as short as 15 turns. And this might actually have been the fastest game of the season so far. I don't know the stats on that, but I feel like it might be.
I feel like we haven't had very many fast, insane blowouts this season at all, so you might be right.
Yeah, and that's something that we would probably need to check the stats document on. I'm not going to do that right now because, I got the thing up. But kudos to you. The +6, I mean, that's massive.
+6 for the Conference Cup, too.
Yeah, and it takes you out of that 3-3 spot. Now you're 4-3 with a +6. You just turned the whole season around.
Oh yeah, like I'm the best 4-3 right now, so there's gonna be a lot of like pressure to keep it up so that I can maintain the 8th seed spot.
And as somebody who is also 4-3, I feel that contention just creeping on me, and I'm like, oh god, like Drac's 4-3 plus this, LCD's 5-2 plus this. I'm like, I'm not gonna get a spot.
Yeah, you gotta win out, man.
You gotta win out. And correct me if I'm wrong, only 2 mons hit the field. It was Vikavolt and Crobat.
Yep, correct. I didn't even get to just do some Trick Room dancing.
Yeah, wow. And yeah, no stack attacking, no Hatterene, no camera ups. And that's regular? Is that Mega camera upped?
Yeah, it's Mega camera.
That's Mega camera upped. Okay, that's what I thought.
Base 20 speed, baby.
Wow. Your team is really interesting. It's your Trick Room team, but like Crobat.
Yeah, I can do both.
Yeah, you can do both.
And I can do both on the same lineup, like we saw here. This is very obviously a Trick Room lineup, except for Crobat.
Yeah, and sometimes you want that Mon to just be faster.
Yeah, having a fast pivot to get the the Trick Room sweepers in clean is very, very useful.
Mm-hmm. But you didn't even need to do that because 3 coverage moves, a nasty plot, and a Z move. That's really all you needed.
Yep.
Which is awesome.
And
so the first battle of the week, a +6, potentially the shortest of the entire season, and a Conference Cup +6. And we'll get to the Conference Cup a little bit later. But for now, we're going into the next battle, where we have... This is Mike versus Tristan, but it's not really Mike versus Tristan. This is me versus Tristan with Mike's team. Now, this battle was something. This was me being scared of Dracovish and Snorlax.
Rightfully so, because that's Dracovish just in general is insane. Like, how much can switch into a strong jaw anything?
And we see Jellicent actually not able to. Now, this battle is one of the ones where it's a little bit slower. It's a little bit slower than most of the other battles. So I'm just going to play us off right here. I know that nothing on my team wants a Vicious Rend. So I think, if he leads Dracovish, I got to lead Jellicent.
I'm actually surprised you ran Colbur and not Will-O-Wisp. I would have thought that was the 1-2 combo to get rid of to sort of neutralize Dracovish.
I had both. I had Willow.
Yes, I remember we see that later.
And Toxic, and I went for Toxic because I expected Tristan to think, I can't Vicious Rend here. I'm gonna go into something else. So I thought I was gonna catch a switch.
Okay.
Otherwise, I definitely would have preferred the Willow on Dracovish. But Toxic isn't bad regardless. That was just sort of something I weighed in my head. I was like, all right, him being Toxic is fine as well.
Yeah, and then we see Clefairy really pulling his weight, knocking off the Eviolite.
Yeah,
that was funny.
And that was a moment I was like, oh my god, I knew Clefairy, of all of these scary Pokemon, I knew Clefairy was going to be the one that I was going to have the most trouble with. And it was the second most troublesome mon on this entire team, which is really kind of funny. I just couldn't cleanly kill Clefairy.
Yeah, Eviolite being a 1.5 multiplier, multiplying all of your EVs and IVs as well. Oh man, that makes even tiny Pokemon very deceptively tanky.
Yeah, and Clefairy just in itself is really good just because it's little Clefable. It has all the great abilities. Actually, no, it doesn't have Cute Charm over one of the good ones. Or does Clefable also have Cute Charm?
Let me check. I know the 2 sets are Unaware and...
It's Unaware and Magic
Guard.
Clefable might have Cute Charm, actually. But this is probably, I would imagine, Probably Magic Guard. Actually, no, she took rocks damage.
So then it is unaware.
Yeah, so it has to be unaware. I get off a meaty U-turn right there.
Oh,
I was really happy. I was scared of Houndoom, definitely. Because Houndoom outspeeds everything on my team, except for Raikou, where it's a speed tie.
Yeah, I was actually saying, because I remember commentating this on the broadcast, Raikou kind of just like dances all over Tristan's lineup, except for Palossand specifically.
Yeah, and
which you get like Shadow Ball for it anyway, and you could potentially be hitting Z Shadow Ball for Never Ending Nightmare.
Yeah, and that's something that I had consulted Mike when it came to building this team, and the first thing that he said to me, he was like, "Hey, run Z Shadow Ball on Raikou," and I looked at Tristan's team and I was like, all right, yeah, bet. Like, as soon as Snorlax is out of the way, Z Shadow Ball is just going to do a lot of damage to pretty much anything. And I didn't actually get the opportunity, I don't think, to use it this game. But it was definitely there.
And now we get to see the long, arduous process of trying to kill Snorlax.
Yeah, this was...
Just to recycle.
This was the entire game. Was me trying to just figure out a way to kill the Snorlax. Because as soon as I saw all the 4 moves, I was like, okay, it's Rest, Recycle, Body Slam, and I think it had a Toxic.
Yeah, and if I remember correctly, you ride the line pretty close, because your only real answers are like Scizor and this guy right here.
And Pangoro, yeah. And so, from that moment, I see Snorlax with that set. I'm like, okay, my only answers to kill the Snorlax are Drain Punch on Pangoro, and I have Superpower on Scizor. So I just need to keep those 2 alive, or else I'm pretty sure I'm just going to lose the battle.
Right, because I don't see what anything here does to Toxic.
Yeah, I got Scald, I got Will-O-Wisp, but he's just going to recycle Chesto. So Jellicent, even though Jellicent walls Snorlax, it can't really do anything to Snorlax realistically.
Yep. I think I remember both Scizor and Pangoro getting pretty low and being a little nervous about this.
And they do, yeah. And I go for the Superpower expecting... I don't know if I expected him to stay in. I was just kind of hoping that he would, so that I could kill him.
I think you have to at least threaten it, right?
Yeah. But I also don't know if I wanted to reveal it as well. Because now he knows. He's like, oh, Scizor can kill me. So now I have to save Snorlax anytime Scizor comes in.
Right, but then you've got the mind game where you can U-turn out on a lot of things and start gaining momentum.
Yeah, and that's pretty much what I did versus Houndoom, and that's the only reason Houndoom was out of my way as early as it was. And Audino is putting in its work at 100 points. This thing is actually insane.
It's so cracked. It's got 120 in both defenses, 100 HP, wish passing. Whew.
Yeah, I was very, very happy. The thing I was most excited about Mike's team was the combination of Scizor and Mega Audino. I was like, Scizor was a mon that I was really, really happy with in Season 11, and Mega Audino is just actually insane.
And it's got fantastic typing too.
Yeah, normal fairy.
It's only 2 weaknesses.
Way better Wigglytuff.
Yeah. It's got the ghost immunity along with...
and that actually comes into play a few times. Tristan tries to catch me leaving a couple times with Audino, but I end up just staying in, eating a Shadow Ball, and then getting a Wish off. And I think that actually made a huge difference.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this is Life Orb, Drain Punch, and at this point, I believe Clefairy still has the Eviolite. I think it does.
I think so. I don't recall seeing it get knocked off yet.
Yeah. Because my only knockoff user is Scizor. I have it on Pangoro too, I think.
No knockoff on Gligor?
No, I had Earthquake, U-Turn, Stealth Rocks, Defog. I didn't even have Roost, which I realized as I got into the battle. I was like, wait a minute. I was like, I ran U-Turn over Roost. I was like, that's not good.
I think maybe if you had I mean, this is kind of hindsight, but if you had knockoff on Audino, maybe if you had knocked off the Chesto Berry, that could have really, really put a dent in Snorlax.
Yeah, and you know what? I was kind of trying to catch Snorlax on a switch, to be able to do that, but my only mons that threatened knockoff were the ones that he didn't want to be in on anyway. So I just never really got the opportunity to get rid of the Chesto Berry. Because I don't know how Recycle works with it being knocked off.
You can't recycle a knocked off item.
You can't. Okay.
Oh,
very lucky.
So close.
Very lucky I lived that body slam. I was pretty sure I was going to, just because I'm spec'd 252 HP and that Snorlax is clearly defensive, but it was close.
Yeah, it's always a butt clencher.
Yeah, 5%. Get that meaty wish from Audino. And my win con's still alive, baby. And I don't know what to do about any of this. I'm just going to get walled by Snorlax.
I do like defogging it away because I think you get another wish with Audino at some point.
Yeah, now you might be right. What do I do here? I U-turn. That does more damage than I thought it would do. Dracovich's defense is 100.
Yeah, Dracovish is surprisingly tanky. I am so surprised he didn't just hit Crunch there, because Crunch would have killed Jellicent.
It probably would have, but it also could have been a
Overberry
roll.
proccing. It did like 55.
Oh yeah, no, that definitely would have killed me then.
And like he could have caught so many things on a switch.
I think
He
that
wants a Bandit Strongjaw Crunch, yo.
I think that if he went for Crunch and Jellicent went down, then he was subjecting the rest of his team to just get like opened up by either Raikou or maybe Pangoro or something like that.
Oh, I see.
Because if he stays in with Crunch, then Pangoro comes in free and Drain Punches or knocks off anything.
Yeah, that could be a little awkward. But at the same time, Jellicent just keeps getting in the way, so it's tough.
Yeah, no, definitely tough decision. I felt like Tristan's brain this entire game. I was really like feeling all the mind games we were trying to pull on each other. Because there was a couple of moments like that one right there with that Crunch. I was surprised that Gligar still died.
But yeah, the Eviolite was knocked off.
But even still, though, I mean, max defensive Gligar, non-stab. Yes, it's Strong Jaw. Yes, it's Choice Band. Yeah, I guess that's fair. I don't know. I didn't calc it. My inner Pokemon brain said I would live, and then I didn't.
Yeah, sometimes you just have that intuition where you've seen a situation a couple of times where you're pretty sure you'll know how it'll play out, but that's obviously not 100% of the story.
And very happy I got this knockoff finally on the Palisand. Something needed to get knocked off.
Oh yeah, there were so many good knockoff targets left, so good read.
And I actually get just insanely lucky in the back half of this game. Not right here, because I actually get... Well, actually, yes, right here. But the next turn, I get hit and confused. But this Tornadus is a mixed bag for Tristan. Because he goes for, I think, like 5 Hurricanes this game. And I think 4 of them miss.
Okay, yeah, we saw Magikarp, Clefairy not take rocks damage.
Oh, did he not take rocks damage?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to let Scizor go down. And then he lives. And I'm like, all right, sweet. I'm like, great.
I was so surprised he didn't like try to hit Heat Wave.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he expected like Jellicent or something. I don't know. But maybe he didn't even have it. I don't even know if he had it.
Oh, that's definitely a possibility. Because, I mean, even Neutral Hurricane with the high base power still kind of chunked Scizor, so...
And yeah, 27's not a lot. I feel like that's not offensive Tornadus. I feel like that has to be defensive Tornadus with just 27.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, Jellicent still has pretty big base special defense.
Yeah. But at this point, it's just him trying to get regeneration on Tornadus, just get him back up to full. And I don't want to say like... I mean, I definitely do get lucky at the back half of this game. The fact that Tornadus missed as much as it did was super, super clutch. Because he misses, and I'm finally like, okay, this thing is on a timer now. And that's what I needed for it to not just constantly swap between it and Snorlax.
Right. And you're at the point where you kind of need Raikou and Clean, because you kind of don't want to take multiple things from Torn if you're switching into it,
Yeah. And once again, at this point, I'm like, I'm just going to sack Pangoro because I just want the turn of Burn. I want to be able to get Raikou in Clean. I'm pretty sure I can live anything it throws at me. And then he misses another Hurricane. I'm like, let's go. And then the Burn just within range to take him out.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the risk you run when you have 70% moves. I mean, I definitely understand it because... like the next best move is 75 base power.
Mm-hmm.
And like 110 stab is very juicy. So
it is definitely very much appreciated.
See why why you run Hurricane, but it's also a risk.
But yeah, 70 base accuracy does not scream to hitting 4 out of 5 of them, or 4 out of 6 of them, or however many he missed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He missed so many of them that match. It's like, is this move really 70% accurate, or is it more like 25% accurate?
I think it's a confirmation bias.
Yeah.
30%. I mean, it's not every time, but it's
a lot of
3 out of 10.
Yeah, it is. It definitely is. And then Scizor is finally able to just finally kill the Snorlax with superpower, and that is Mike's season, staying alive. And I was very happy with how I played. I didn't have anything riding on the line for me personally. Like, it didn't affect where I was going to be. It didn't, like...
You basically got to play Ruiner.
I did sort of play Ruiner because I believe... I don't know if Tristan's at the top of his division anymore.
He's not at the top of his division.
He's not anymore.
He's in a wild card spot.
Yeah. And, but yeah, a +3 that I'm pretty happy with. And I was also lucky enough, I asked Joe, I was like, Joe, can I go first with Mike's team? Because I just kind of wanted to get in the Pokemon mindset. I think this game really helped me for my second battle, which is not next, but it's coming up. And, yeah, that was a pretty long game, 67 turns.
Yeah, on the topic of games going much longer this season.
Yeah, really. And specifically games with Mega Audino. Because that's just been the theme. But, yeah, so Mike over Tristan +3. And into the next battle. It is Manny versus Bick. Now, I watched this game one time, and I don't remember everything about it. I'm pretty sure this is Silvally Dark.
Yeah, it is Silvally Dark.
And Bick's team, in general, to me, just looks way, way scarier than Manny's team.
Yeah, Manny's team is very passive. Like, he has Spectrier and Zapdos. Those are the offensive threats.
I feel like these are always the 6 Pokemon that Manny brings, too. I feel like it's always Hippowdon, Registeel, Zapdos, Spectrier, and Ditto. And then maybe Licky Licky. Sometimes it's wishy-washy, but... But yeah, so I think Bick ends up taking this game. We see right off the bat, he leads with this Poliwrath, says, nope, I don't want to be here. I got an answer for the Spectrier. And then Spectrier says, are you really an answer?
Yeah, because, like, what does Spectrier even have for Silvally Dark? It has, like, Hyper Beam.
Mudshot.
That's about it.
And I think I don't know if he's running Hyper Beam. I actually don't
he reveals that he's, like, sub-Nasty Plot Willow Hex.
Oh, he's Hex, really? Okay.
Yeah, Hex was his only damaging move, which
oh no, that was
his downfall.
Wait, that was Spectrier's Sub Willow Hex?
Yeah.
That was also Dragapult.
Yeah.
They had the same 4 moves.
I don't know if he had Nasty Plot. I actually don't know what his last move was.
Dragapult?
Because I think he only hits like Sub Willow Hex.
Yeah, he might have had like Dragon Dart or something.
But still,
like that.
Okay, right here. I don't know why Manny stayed in with Licky Licky. Why wouldn't he just go into Registeel for the resist?
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, depending on how the Azelf is, though, like, you don't want to get fire blasted. Like,
true, but...
or fire punched, or what have you. Like, Licky Licky's basically dead. It's going to get outsped by everything, except for maybe Mawile. Maybe. I think it still does.
I just feel like Licky gets in the way so well that he could have done a lot of like wish passing and stalled this out a little more. Like, imagine if Spectre got a big wish pass or something. Yeah,
it could have been definitely really, really helpful. But like nothing that Manny could have done would have helped Licky Licky get a wish off at 11%.
Not at that point. But
like the turn prior.
Oh yeah. For the initial Psyshock.
That's a good point. You don't want your walls to go down too early. That's a lot of your healing potential. And we see that. We see now all of a sudden Manny doesn't have the ability to heal off damage besides maybe like rest on Registeel. And he's on a timer. And now we know that that's a Scarf Galarian Zapdos. Because it outspeeds Azelf.
Well, Azelf hard switched in.
Oh, did he?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I see.
I was Oh, I forget what happens here. Does he hit Ice Beam?
No, he leaves.
Oh no, he just hard switches out.
Slack off. This is actually an okay spot for Hippowdon to be. Hippowdon's pretty dang fat, and he actually decides to leave, and I think, does this sack? Oh no, he close combats. Interesting.
He must have been expecting Registeel.
Yeah. Honestly, I would have thought that like Hippowdon could have stayed in and gotten like a toxic off or something like that.
Yeah, something. Because I mean, it'll live a liquidation, right?
It'll live. I feel like it'll live too, but maybe I'm just overestimating Hippowdon.
I mean, Hippowdon's so fat, and Poliwrath isn't huge.
It's got base 90 attack, I want to say. Never-ending Nightmare not killing there is kind of stinky.
I really don't like the Z low base power move because it doubles, so it's doing like 120, which is the same as base Hex.
Oh yeah,
or
it is
Hex.
Hex.
If
Yeah.
they're burned. So I don't know about the Z crystal there.
Yeah, and then he stays in, keeps going for Hex. Like, don't you want to keep Spectre alive for something? Like, get a sub off maybe. He nasty plots. I feel like
he could have like willowed Mawile. Well, no, yeah, he could have willowed Mawile.
Like at this point, you know Silvally has multi attack. You should go into like Zapdos and just start clicking Thunderous Kick, right? Or does that bait Dragapult?
Yeah, it baits in Dragapult.
Oh god, the Brave Bird. Oh god, that's insane.
Well, yeah. Well, if you like hard switch
Defiant.
Zapdos,
Oh
yeah.
That's insane. And he leaves. Why did he leave?
He must have been locked. I feel like because we see Bick get down to like 20 seconds there. I feel like Bick was running a calc and he was like, okay, this
Can I
thing
live
is
a Brave Bird at +1? Banded,
Yeah.
yeah. And he probably could, and that's probably why he was gonna substitute up.
Yep.
That's still insane though. If I was Manny, I would probably still go for it because I don't know what you, assuming you're banded, because that's banded damage, right? Like,
I almost think it has to be
to kill Silvally at 100%. I feel like it has to be.
Yeah. But anyway, back to like that banded Brave Bird.
Yeah.
Imagine if like you're threatening the Thunderous Kick and you just catch Dragapult on a switch, like banded Brave Bird. Ooh, I think that thing is going down.
Yeah, but then also you're at such a low percent that you're gonna die too. So Galarian Zapdos has one more Brave Bird in it before it's just dead, and then depending on how Manny plays Ditto as well here, he could have probably clutched the game out. You can't. We see it here.
Here's the thing, Bick has substitute on everything.
I think it's for Ditto.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's for. It's like one of the only things that actually answers Ditto.
Yeah. And I think right here he sends it out. He's just like, haha, I'm going to be Dragapult, idiot. And then, oops.
Yeah, and I think he uses Transform. Oh, not now. I think at some point he uses Transform.
And he Will-O-Wisps the Zapdos, and it's like, it's just not looking good. Now, what is this thing going to hit him with? If he's banded, he's going to get outsped regardless. Dead Zapdos.
Oh.
And we see one of the most unfortunate ends to a game, which is actually something that, like, this situation was very weird. This was very, very weird.
Manny hits Transform. Yeah, he just, like, lets his timer run out, right?
He does let his timer go out. And he has nothing to hit Dragapult with, because his only attacking move is Seismic Toss on Registeel. And instead of potentially PP stalling Hex, letting Burn run down, I think you could have gotten at least a switch. Because at this point, right, Registeel is taking 6% damage every single turn.
Yeah, and it probably has rest.
Hex is only 10 PP?
Yeah, Hex. You only get 16 hexes.
You get 16 hexes. Now, assuming that this Registeel had rest, if he rested and got all the way back up to full, he would have forced a switch of that Dragapult. Because Dragapult couldn't have done anything. Dragapult would have just spammed Willow.
But then I think you let Mawile hit sub on it.
Yes, but at the same time, then. Manny now has a Imposter Ditto in the back pocket. If for whatever reason he's able to stall out the PP on Dragapult, get Mawile down with a couple Seismic Tosses, come in with Ditto, copy Poliwrath, I don't know. There's
It would have been tough.
it is tough. It's like hard to see that window, but I feel like that's one of those things that you just have to like play out and see how it goes.
I mean, Manny, well, since he just sort of quit, I guess he didn't have rest. Maybe that's a possibility.
And that might be a possibility as well.
Because if he didn't have rest, it was just over.
Yeah.
Another thing about Hex is that when Registeel is asleep, you don't get the double Hex bonus.
Wait, really? Sleep
Correct,
doesn't
yeah.
count?
Nope, it's only burn, parapoison.
I had no idea. Well, is it because it's a volatile status versus non-volatile? Like, because I thought sleep was volatile.
I just know that it doesn't work like that.
Weird. I would think it would. Oh, that's so weird.
It would kind of be a little broken.
Pokemon's so weird. Who decided that? Masuda? God damn it, Masuda. But yes, so Vic got a +3. There was no really King of the Kill data for any of it, but I assume that both of those just went to Dragapult.
I believe that's how it goes.
And that I'm totally fine with. We'll see it when we look at King of the Kill. But a 34 turn game that very well could have been the longest game in the history of PFL.
Imagine. You have Dragapult spamming subs so that it doesn't like waste PP on Hex.
And you're getting leftovers recovery back too. It's not like you can stall out Dragapult's HP either. like you're just screwed no matter what. So I think the way Manny ended the game didn't make a lot of sense to me, but it is what it is.
Well, the thing about Imposter Ditto is that it's already burned, so...
Yeah, and there's 3 physical attackers, because you're not copying Dragapult if he's behind a sub.
Right.
But yeah, so +3 for Bic. Good stuff. Very confusing end game, but like, what are you going to do? I'm okay with not sitting through a 200 turn battle.
Yeah, me too.
So, and I think Manny was as well, so I can't fault him for it. And into the next battle of the night, Kyle V Dillon.
Oh man, this game.
Now, about this game, the thing that sticks out to me is how well Kyle's been able to use G-Slowking.
Absolutely, that's exactly what I took from this game.
Like,
Kyle at some point like gets rid of Gastrodon, and then you just see Slowking just kind of exist and struggle with it.
And you know what? It wasn't even Z Solar Beam on Heatran. It was Power Herb Solar Beam. I think that is what did Gastrodon in.
Yep, that's what I remember, and I think it even kills it through the Grass Berry.
I think you may be right. They may have been knocked off. We definitely know Gastrodon has the Rindo Berry, though. Actually, no, I think you're right. I think it does kill through the Grass Berry. Because I don't think anything has knockoff on this team besides maybe Absol.
Yeah, Absol's the only thing with knockoff. But yeah, the whole like story of this match is Kyle just pivots perfectly around everything, and I don't think he makes a wrong read a single time.
I think you're right. And Dylan's...
Okay, maybe you count this as a bad read.
Yeah, and Dylan's doing a great job, too. It's Leech Seed Toxic. You just have to make sure that Rotom is not able to Pain Split anything. Regidrago or Celesteela.
Which I think we're about to see, actually.
And we do see it, yeah. Maybe not right here, but definitely soon. Yep, right here.
Oh, there it is.
And 83%. Earth Power. And you know what? That's fine, because he predicted potentially like Heatran coming in, or Lycanroc, or...
Well, I mean, Whimsicott just comes in and forces it out.
Yeah, that's true.
Earth Power.
Goes for the Recover. He goes, haha, I don't want to be here. Here's a Celesteela. Or, alternatively, maybe here's a Delphox. What happens here? Celesteela, yep.
Yeah, Kyle just predicts the double.
Which is fair. You're not standing in with Gastrodon on a Grass type. Now you're trapped, and
this is exactly what Kyle had up his sleeve.
Yeah. Now you can't leave. Now I'm going to outspeed you. I'm going to hit you with the Power Herb Solar Beam. It's a critical hit. It's a Rindo Berry. It doesn't matter.
I feel like the crit did not matter.
I don't think so either. That's 4 times super effective. Heatran has base 130 special attack. Like, I feel like it's not even close.
Yeah, and we did see the Rindo Berry get eaten.
Yeah. And Virizion showing its fat Spadef. Zen Headbutt, is that really the best you can do versus Whimsicott? I think it is.
It is actually. I remember looking it up when I saw that happen. Like, Yeah, Verzian doesn't even get like Poison Jab or Iron Tail or anything.
No, yeah. And 55% is not enough, man.
Yeah, and Gastrodon was like really the only thing that could hit Slowking, so it's just gonna be a sad
Yeah,
rest
you're
of the game
right.
for Dillon.
I mean, unless Regidrago gets a DD up, like, Slowking is fat. And Poison Psychic is like a deceptively good defensive typing.
Yeah, it's weak to like Ghost Dark Ground.
Ghost
That's it.
Ghost Dark Ground. Yeah, I think that is it actually, which is
Yeah,
really
look-
good.
Yeah, look at Kyle actually has 3 things weak to ground here, and the only stab ground type is dead.
Yep. And I think that's what happens when your ground type is your defensive Pokemon, and it's 4 times weak to something, and it's slow as heck. You just prep for it. And that's what Kyle did. He said, "Ha, Power Up Solar Beam. Now your biggest threat to my team is gone, and I'm just going to pick you apart."
Which is exactly what happens,
Yeah.
because we see Whimsicott come in here, I believe.
Oh, the Mach
that's
Punch
so
into the
painful.
pain split is just, that hurts. That hurts a lot.
Yeah.
Which, honestly, Mach Punch was a good idea, but I'm pretty sure Hitmonchan was outspeeding regardless. I mean,
No, it wasn't. We saw the Willow go
oh
off
no, it
before the
wasn't.
Drain Punch.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
So this was like a defensive Hitmonchan, or like
Fire
potentially,
Punch
like,
was a pretty
bulky
good
AV.
read. I do like that Fire Punch.
Oh, and here we go, Prankster Z Memento.
And he didn't go
Just-
for the Mach Punch. It doesn't
no,
really
Whimsicott's
matter.
faster. Whimsicott's faster. It doesn't matter if he Mach Punches. See, he does Mach Punch.
Oh, because the Z Memento is still Prankster.
Yes, they're
Right.
both one priority.
Oh, God.
And Whimsicott's like 113 speed, I feel like.
That sounds right. The Rotom that could. This Rotom has been down to 3% twice this game, and it's back up to
Yeah.
93 for the third time.
What a pain in the ass.
Yeah, what a pain split.
Really proving it's worth 160 points.
I mean, yeah, Rotom Wash, like, indisputably, I would argue the best Rotom form. Rotom Heat's close, but I don't think it's there.
Yeah, I don't think it's quite on the level, because I think it has one weakness, right? Just grass.
It's
Because
yes,
it
yes,
levitates.
it's just grass, and yeah, Rotom Heat is weak to rock and water.
Yeah, and well, yeah, with the boots on Rotom Heat, they kind of bump it up a notch. But man, Rotom Wash is so good.
Yeah, I mean, Rotom Wash, Heatran, like, you got the Fire, Water, Grass core, and that's something I love. I love the Fire, Water, Grass core. That's my favorite.
Another thing I want to touch on about G Slowking, you can't even poison it. You can't even toxic
Yeah,
it. So
and
the
it gets
Is
Regenerator.
just so much more deadly.
You're right, and that's that. You're right. That's actually insane. That's just a really good Pokemon. Jeez.
And like stab Future Sight basically forces a switch on the next turn, so you get momentum. So it basically pivots without even needing teleport.
Oh man, you know what? Delphox taking 29% from a resisted Magma Storm and then giving him the
Okay.
choice specs.
Okay, that's a little questionable.
I
because
think that's
it's
just
hard to use
Dylan
its
being
item.
like, "Hey, look at me! I have Trick on this. Like, look at my set. You know, like I already know I lost the game, so I might as well just show my heat. You know." And yeah, no, there's nothing going on here. If Regidrago killed right there, or maybe if he D-danced in the first turn, things would have been a little bit different. I think Absol still just comes in and sucker punches, but it could have been a little bit different. I think.
Yeah,
Drag him down a couple
potentially.
points.
Yeah, like the best move Regidrago gets for Heatran is Hammer Arm, but then, you're slower than everything else.
Yeah. But once again, we just see Kyle dominate.
Yeah, he put on a clinic on how to pivot your team.
Yeah. And then also just Rotom Wash not dying, Slowking not dying. That was it was insane. It was really like Absol and Lycanroc didn't even hit the field.
Yeah, and those two are super deadly as well. You have
Yeah.
like Tough Claws, Accelerock, and Stab Sucker Punch.
And bless
Have some-
the people trying to fight for King of the Kill, because Absol didn't hit the field, so there's a lot of movers and shakers on the King of the Kill chart, which is really neat. But once again, Kyle proven his worth as the only double champion PFL's ever seen, and into the next battle. where we've got myself versus James. This is the second battle I've been in, and it's only been
James
5
versus
battles.
James.
This is the Battle of the Jameses. And, let's see. What was my thoughts going into this battle? I was scared of Latias. I was scared of Hitmontop. I was scared of Sylveon. And,
Hitmontop looks gross versus this team.
yeah. And all 3 of them were here. And I was like, oh, God. I was like, I'm really going to have to deal with, Calm Mind Latias and Triple Axle Hitmontop. And I was like, this is not something I want to do.
Because I was thinking when I saw this, like, oh man, if James gets rid of Prim, like, what do you do to Hitmontop after he rapid spins once?
You're right.
You cry?
I basically would have to cry. And I knew Hitmontop was going to be a huge...
or something.
Yeah, you know what, too? Like, I was kind of banking on the fact that, like, Archeops would be able to do something, or Primarina would be able to do something, because if he had rapid spin, I think Archeops still outspeeds at +1.
Really?
I think he does, because it's base... Hitmontop is base, like, 60, I want to say. Maybe it's 70.
70?
It might be 70. But I'm pretty sure Archeops at 110 max speed outspeeds him. I'm pretty sure. Don't quote me on that. Yeah. That's Pokemon brain. That's not me calking. That's just me thinking. I'm hoping he does. But yeah, so this game was it was nice. It was nice because I had used the game I subbed for Mike as kind of a warm-up. And I got really lucky because James decided to run a really memey Excelgor set.
Absolutely. I was so scared he was going to Final Gambit you turn 1, and then your only answer to Hitmontop was going to go down.
I was equally scared of Final Gambit, and I don't know why I stayed in. I was like, okay, well, hopefully he doesn't Final Gambit. If he does Final Gambit, then what Pokemon do I want to go down? It would have been Weavile.
Blissey could eat it, though. Blissey could eat the Final Gambit.
Oh, you're right. I probably should have went into Blissey at that point. But Final Gambit was turn 1. That was my first thought. Absolutely.
Yeah. That's kind of what we were expecting, and then he hits
that's
swap.
Right there. That's why I went into Weavile, because I expected the Final Gambit. I thought he was going to be scared of Primarina. He was just going to want it out of his face. And I'm like, of all the Pokemon that I want to take damage, Weavile does the least work to his team.
Yeah, well, we see Weavile do like a ton of work. Knocking off that Black Sludge and chunking Toxapex is actually pretty huge, especially since we see like late game. James actually almost like brings it back after
he does
a pretty hefty lead on you.
Very early, he says GG, and I'm like, the game's not over. Like I could still lose. Like I didn't feel comfortable. Like enough could go wrong that I would lose. Missing the scale shot there to me was like, all right. I was like, that kind of stinks. But
that's okay. You should actually kind of be thankful you didn't hit the scale shot because
weak armor.
Yeah, weak armor. It'll proc on every single hit.
Yeah.
So you would have had like a +4, +6 Scarm hitting you with something. Although I don't know what it might do back since it wouldn't be boosted at that point, but still.
Yeah. I was just very lucky. I don't think the Fire Blast was a roll. When I calced it, it was like 95 or something to like 115. So it very well could have not killed. I'm just glad it did kill.
Well, I think since James basically revealed it was the weak armor set, both hitting Swords Dance and not having sturdy proc.
Yeah.
Makes me think it was more offensive, so probably was a pretty safe.
Yeah. And I think I calced it with 252 HP and Skarmory as well.
Yeah.
And he's going for Toxic Spikes. And I know I have Fortress. So I'm like, all right, like this is fine by me. Like, I just need Fortress to be able to come in clean. I don't think anything on James's team is able to like actually do the work versus Fortress. Except for maybe a Fire move on Latias, which he does end up having a Fire move on Latias.
Yep.
And right here, I'm just like, I'm living large because Primarina, since being picked up, has put in a lot of work for my team. And
yeah, Prim is like super fat. It's a great like anti-tank.
Yeah. And Sub Primarina specifically has been really, really nice because Water Fairy is a super good offensive typing. And although Liquid Voice is like kind of bad, I made it work with the throat spray. Just because Hyper Voice it's like a surf, you know? It doesn't get any boost, which is kind of dumb. I think it should get some sort of boost.
Yeah, because you see like Pixelate gets a boost. It boosts the normal type.
Yeah, right.
And it does more moves too. Like Pixelate would affect more moves.
Yep. Liquid
it's
Voice
just a silly game for
is
precision.
just a bad ability.
Yeah, I was actually thinking that you'd be Torrent with the subset because like you get down to like 25 after 3 subs. Ooh.
Yeah. It's just because I wanted to proc the throat spray.
Right.
I mean, I could have done that without Torrent, but like I would have preferred a stab Hyper Voice versus a non-stab Hyper Voice.
Yeah, fair enough.
But yeah, I'm actually really happy here. He goes for the rapid spin, and I'm like, what's he going to hit me with? And then I'm just like, I'm just going to sub up again.
That was a great call out. That could have been super bad, because I'm actually surprised he didn't have Poison Jab, because I believe Hitmontop gets that.
Yeah, I mean, either way, I knew he was probably going to break my sub, and I'm just very glad that Psychic was killed. Now I'm pretty sure I'm going to win the game, because I've seen almost every move. I've seen every move except one on Toxapex. And I've seen every move except one on Latias, which I believe just revealed was Mystical Fire. So now I know pretty much every set, and I'm just scared of like Scald on Toxapex.
Yeah, you're basically just waiting to get Fortress in clean, get rid of the Tox spikes, and then you're good, right?
Yeah. I mean, that was what I was playing for. I'm like, okay, I know Garchomp, as soon as I get a scale shot off, can just do the game. But at the same time, I think I end up... I don't know if I sack Archeops here or something. Archeops goes down, and then all of a sudden I'm a little more scared.
Yeah, I do recall that. I think you just let Prim go at this point.
Yeah, because I don't think Primarina is going to really do anything for me, and I want to be able to get Fortress in clean. Because Fortress still has Sturdy intact. And I don't want Fortress to take like a Draco on the switch or a Mystical Fire on the switch and then not be able to get rid of the Toxic Spikes. Because then Garchomp's on a timer. And I can't afford that.
Yeah, it would have been especially bad because not only you're on a timer, but you can't even get Garchomp in unless Toxapex is on the field because Latias would be faster.
Yeah. I went into Archeops here just because I thought I was going to outspeed.
This is a speed tie. They're both 110.
Yeah, but since he was running Wish Protect, I assumed he was more defensive. And then he wasn't. And I was like...
Yeah, I guess not.
And then he was offensive Z-move with Wish Protect. And I was like, what the hell? I was like, what kind of weird backwards set is that?
He's just carrying the rest of the team on his back. He does everything.
Yeah, and he really does. Latias is really putting in all the work. And I'm still scared. I'm like, Toxapex is getting Regenerator back. Like, none of my mons can really do anything. If he scalds me, I'm like, this is still a game. I know I can. And thankfully, he doubles because I know I can get the rapid spin off.
Right, and I think that's what James was like. It's like, okay, good. I got the read on the double because he's gonna switch to Fortress, so now I can Mystical Fire it. Wait, Sturdy.
Yeah, and Blissey walls Latias. I just need to make sure that Toxic Spikes don't go up again, and I'm gonna be okay.
Right, because Toxic would have been the end of Blissey at that point.
Yeah, and getting the Toxic off on Latias was the biggest thing as well.
Absolutely.
That was the moment where I was pretty sure like the game was over. I just needed to play carefully with Fortress and Garchomp, and the only thing I was scared of, he didn't reveal his 4th move at this point. I thought if he goes for like Ice Beam here, like I'm just gonna get 2-tapped by Ice Beam.
Yeah, but he ends up revealing that the last move is Haze, which I understand. You like want to stop Mega Garchomp from setting up. However, you kind of need to be able to hit back with something.
Yeah. And that's totally why I'm fine. I'm like, he doesn't have any offensive moves, so I'm just gonna keep scale shotting.
Yeah.
And eventually I'll just have a boost.
Exactly.
And
like the only way it could possibly go wrong is like James Hards into Latias and Scale Shot misses.
Yes, and if Scale Shot missed there, I could have died to Draco. Actually, I think I might have lived that Draco. I don't know, dude. Garchomp is he's big. Probably not that big, but then Blissey just kind of comes in and walls because there's only a few turns left of Toxic Tick, and he's just going to eventually just die to Toxic. So
Yeah.
the game was secured, but it was closer than it looked. I think, anyway. For me, playing it.
I could feel the tension watching this live.
Yeah.
Commentating it live. I was like, ooh, man, if James plays this like precisely, this isn't so clean cut for.
And I feel like that's something that James is very good at. Like he's like, haha, look at my heat, look at my tech at the very beginning of the battle. But when it like gets down to the nitty gritty of it, he just like turns his hat backwards and he like really buckles down and does it.
Yeah, I think James is like very aware of, what is his win con, what isn't, and then playing to that.
Yeah, and he was playing it good with Latias. He was like, yeah, I just need to make sure I can trick a Meteor, Garchomp, and Mystical Fire Fortress, and you know what, it was close. But thankfully, at least thankfully for me, I got a +3, and I'm now sitting at the top of the Clefable division, just barely.
Yeah, the Clefable division is wild.
Yeah, we're in contention real hard over there, and I'm not looking forward to weeks 9 and 10, but what are you going to do? Into the next battle is Murphy Mitch. And looking at Mitch's team, I can't help but think that there have been some downgrades here.
Right, we saw him drop Barraskewda for Kabutops as his alternate rain sweeper,
and
he got rid of Piloswine for Glaceon.
Yep. And I'm not a huge fan of Glaceon, nor am I a huge fan of Kabutops. So I personally think it's a downgrade. I think Aromatisse, Mega Manectric, and Bronzong are insane.
Yep, I think that's a great combo together.
But I think that Murphy's team has a pretty good matchup going in here. And
I actually think what Mitch did is he saw that he was fighting Murphy and me the next 2 weeks, and he picked up Manectric for Crobat and Aerodactyl, and then he got Glaceon for Murphy's tanks. I think that's what he did.
Now, I forget, does he run... He must run Freeze Dry.
Yeah, he runs Freeze Dry. And as scary as like a Specs Freeze Dry with 130 special attack is, it ends up only like really claiming 1, I think. I think it kills Ariados and that's it.
And we do see Umbreon taking a critical hit overheat, and it takes 37%.
It just takes it on the chin.
It's just like, nope, sorry. Like, it's actually... Umbreon's actually ridiculous.
Yep.
Spark Hoppus.
Very passive, but definitely gets in the way.
And that's basically just Murphy's entire team. Although he's recently, in the last couple weeks, he's been opting for 2 walls instead of 4 walls, which I've appreciated.
I think that's an overall upgrade just in general, because, like, yeah, the walls get in the way, but, you get one Mon to, like, D-Dance or Nasty Plot on you, and it's suddenly all downhill.
Yeah. The Mon that I'm the most scared of on Murphy's team is without a doubt Tyrantrum. I am terrified of Tyrantrum. I think that thing is actually dumb busted.
Yeah, Tyrantrum actually has a really good history in our league of putting in a ton of work.
Yeah, it does. A head smash, a D-Dance, like, it could just clean a team if you're not careful.
Yeah. Rockhead head smash, right? Yeah. Rockhead's the ability.
Yeah, you can't even like bank on it killing itself like a Darmanitan or a Rampardos or anything like that. Like it's just gonna keep doing it. And we got Real Big Fish taking 14% from a superpower.
-1 superpower, granted.
Yeah, but
I also find it funny that like the foul play on Kabutops is basically neutral because it was minus defense and minus attack.
Yep. Which is kind of ridiculous. Glaceon gets burned, doesn't really matter too much. If I'm Mitch in this scenario, I'm clicking Freeze Dry. You reveal it, but then what are you doing after this?
Umbreon's the sort of obvious switch, right?
Yeah. If he doesn't get frozen, it's close. I feel like Freeze Dry has a larger freeze chance than Ice Beam, even though it doesn't. Feels like it does.
Don't even talk to me about Freeze Dry freezing, okay? In my other league, I I had like a P2, and it got frozen by freeze dry like 3 times.
I remember reading that message, and you know what? If like that's your dedicated switch in to freeze dry, and it's taking like 10 of them, it's bound to happen.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it's bound to happen. 10% over.
But still,
very large sample size. You know, it's gonna happen.
Freeze is definitely a poorly balanced status condition.
Yeah, I agree.
It's
Just
like
be glad we don't have to deal with like nature power freeze with the 30% chance.
Oh God, I mean,
or is it secret power? I think it's secret power actually.
Is it secret power? Is the 30% paralysis, right? Or it depends on the terrain though.
It's not the terrain. It's like the environment. So if you're in like the ice cave in the main campaign, it has a 30% chance to freeze.
Oh yeah, and it actually does freeze right there. I totally forgot about that. That's what I thought. I thought that there was a freeze dry freeze sometime this game, and it was on the Ariados and not on the Umbreon. So no webs. Sorry about that. Tracing the ice body is not going to do you very much good. I don't know if Pelipper's the switch, but you know you did it, so.
Shadow Ball. Now I'm curious why after Shadow Ball you didn't hit Hyper Voice, because you know, Aromatisse should come in, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Oh, okay. I remember now. Murphy ended up having Hyper Beam instead of Hyper Voice as a mistake.
Oh, was it a mistake?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah, so you don't want to go for Hyper Beam. Bronzong comes in, eats it, and then you're taking a Gyro Ball, or you're getting rocks up, or there's a free turn. Bronzong can do something.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey man, that's really stinky. That's not good. And Psyshock, he eats it. Now, what do you do if you're Mitch?
I think he just rocks. Rock seems
he
pretty
just
fair
rocks?
right here.
He does just rocks.
There's no removal on Murphy's side.
Yeah, which honestly, like, if I was Mitch and I saw that there's no removal on Murphy's side, I would have tried to get rocks up like 20 turns ago.
I think he was like waiting for Ariados to go down because he would have to defog away his own rocks if.
If Webs got up, yeah.
Because I mean, Webs really slows down Manectric. It really slows down Kabutops. Yeah, that could have been an issue.
Yeah, and you know what too? He goes into Manectric here, and I'm not exactly sure why it's Manectric and not like Bronzong. I don't know what his moves were on Bronzong. But is a neutral overheat really the best you can do?
Yeah, I don't know. I think just like a Volt Switch into Bronzong could have done it, because like Bronzong can hit you with like Zen Headbutt or Psychic or something. And okay, that Aqua Jet right there, we ran the calc after the match. That was a 75% chance to kill in Mitch's favor.
Oh, you hate when that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden you don't have a Swift Swimmer anymore, so like you can't outspeed Gardevoir with anything.
Yeah,
if it's a Scarf Tyrantrum, you can't outspeed it either. Like, you lost your 2 fastest Pokemon, and now all of a sudden, you're just gonna get mopped up. And I believe this is a +4. I think that's the moment that Mitch lost the game.
Yeah, I think even without, like, what is Toxtricity doing to Bronzong? So like after
neutral overdrive.
Yeah,
but,
neutral overdrive, I guess.
+1. I mean, that's still probably like maybe a 2-tap. If you're generous,
it would depend if the Bronzong is specially defensive or not.
If it's Spadef, it's probably, I don't know.
Bronzong is big though.
Yeah, but like Punk Rock overdrive throat spray, like.
Yeah, maybe.
It could be
I haven't ran the calcs on that.
Yeah,
but I feel like Bronzong could have clapped back with like one move.
And then
There's
goes for
the Hyper Beam.
That's so awesome. He goes, "You ready for this? Sicko mode." Oh my god. And what are you going to do, Aromatisse? What are you going to do? You're going to protect? You must recharge.
I think Mitch threw in the towel right there when he hit protect.
Oh yeah. I mean, what are you going to do? Wish and then like you're dead.
It's over anyway.
You can't do anything if you're Aromatisse against a Gardevoir. You just can't. But a +4 for Murphy in a closer game than it looks.
Yeah, that definitely had the potential to just kind of unravel on Murphy.
Yeah. If Toxtricity went down, then all of a sudden Kabutops is still alive. Then all of a sudden Aromatisse isn't taking 80%, 89%. Then wish passing's a thing. Kabutops can potentially come back in and do the thing.
Absolutely.
So I think that was pretty lucky on Murphy's part, and I think he stays alive in the season because of it. And
he's right in your tails.
Yeah, he is. He's right there, dude. I'm not happy about it. But we're just gonna have to see going into week 9. But for now, into the next battle, where we got Dan versus Dave. Oh man, what a battle it is.
This is another battle that's down to the wire that could have gone very differently.
Yeah. And we actually see Alolan Marowak finally do something, I think. If I'm correct.
Yeah. Alolan Marowak kind of like tears through Dan.
It beats
as long as it's alive.
Comfy. I believe it beats Skuntank as well.
Yep. That was a Specs Volt Switch, by the way.
Yeah, and only 52 is in Electric Terrain, Stab. Necrozma's big.
Yeah, very big. So we end up seeing Dan hit Trick Room.
Which is hilarious.
Yes, 1, hilarious. I love it. 2, I don't know about doing that with Alolan Marowak still alive on the other side. With everything else is very fast.
Yeah. And everything else is really fast, you're right. I sort of don't understand the Trick Room strats that Dan's trying to pull off. Because Alolan Marowak is far and away the slowest Pokemon on both sides.
Yes.
It's got base 45 speed. Also...
Dude, that resisted Poltergeist. Are you kidding me?
That's a thick club, baby.
Yeah, what a ridiculous item.
Earthquake. Oh, you're dead, Mr. Stinky. You're donezoed. And, I mean... You're in Trick Room now. Like, why would you... And then, quick question. Why would you burn it? Like, you could have hit him with a fat Poltergeist. Unless you need Alolan Marowak for...
I think he was scouting.
Corviknight, maybe.
Oh, yeah. Saving it for Corviknight's probably a good idea.
But then you're still probably going to get outsped in Brave Bird, though.
I mean, maybe he was just, like, counting on Dan putting Trick Room for Marowak again at some point.
Oh, yeah. And we see an Ice Beam instead of a Freeze Dry, and that makes me wonder.
I was super curious about that too.
I was like,
why not Freeze Dry?
Freeze Dry, it's against Garchomp, it's against Pidgeot, and it's against Tentacruel. Like, you gotta run Freeze Dry, especially if it's a Lapras. You gotta run Freeze Dry over Ice Beam. You're like pseudo-defensive, kinda, like, you're gonna take nothing from a Heat Wave, just run Freeze Dry. In case he switches into Tentacruel, which I believe he might do. It's either Tentacruel or it's Cresselia. It's Coco. Wait a minute. Never mind. Jesus.
Oh, of course, Coco.
He's playing ballsy. Banking on the... Yep. Oh. There it is. See, I would have went to Cresselia.
Happening.
I would have said, I don't want it. I don't trust it. I would have said, I do not appreciate it. If you freeze my Tapu Koko, I'm not going to be a happy camper. And once again, we see Dave with this Calm Mind Cresselia that he just desperately wants to work.
Yeah, I ran Cresselia one season. I get it's big and in the way. I had a hard time making it work. One of the sets I sort of liked was Psycho Shift Burn Orb. So that Cresselia can like burn the opponent.
Yeah, and that's like... It's funny because that's like Blood Totem, except you're also taking damage, but also you're fatter, so it like almost doesn't matter. Yeah. And I'm getting a ton of Discord notifications, and I don't know how to mute them without like muting.
Go into streamer mode, I think.
Is it streamer mode? How do I do this? Jesus.
Anyway, we see Crest just like essentially let itself get chipped down with Toxic and like, okay, resisted Photon Geyser, that's great. But Crest being on a timer is super, like, good for Dan.
Yeah, and you know what? We see, too, like, Dave's taking his time with it. 25 seconds left, 20 seconds left, 15 seconds left. Dave's playing fast and loose at this point. He just has to start clicking buttons.
Oh, another thing that happened earlier that we kind of glossed over. Comfey tricking the Choice Scarf onto Tentacruel actually matters a ton.
Yeah, it does. I know, and like, especially with a Mega alive on the other team, like, you would have to trick the Choice Scarf onto Cresselia for it to be, like, good. A Choice Scarf on anything else is just not good for you.
So, yeah, this is... Get used to this matchup. Lapras v Tentacruel.
Yeah.
I was a little sad that, like, Liquid Ooze Draining Kiss didn't happen.
Was it? We think it was Liquid Ooze?
I mean, it swapped into Comfy, right?
Yeah. I mean, Tentacruel is also Spadef, very defensive and
yeah,
whatnot.
and it resists.
But it could have been Liquid Ooze, and very well could have. And honestly, that would have been really cool. Tentacruel puts in work on Comfy because Comfy was like, I want your Black Sludge. And Tentacruel was like, okay, you can have it, fine.
I think that mattered a ton because depending on the investment, like Comfy could have like really gotten in the way.
Yeah.
But then, because the priority healing on Triage is just so insane, especially with Tentacruel being like the last resist.
As the number one Comfy stan in PFL.
Oh yeah, dude.
I mean, that would have revenge killed. That would have revenge killed Pidgeot. It maybe could have killed Coco. It could have done a lot of damage to Garchomp.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're right. Like, Comfy being dead is a really big pain in Dan's side at this point.
Yeah. Comfy is a mon I really love. And it's basically is just kind of a win con.
Yeah.
Right? Because you're always going first, you're getting that 75% healing Draining Kiss.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Pidgeot's not living,
and the fact that Necrozma broke through the confusion just to do that, kind of nice.
Yeah, that could have. Yeah, if he hit himself there, I think Pidgeot might have just won. Well, maybe he can't do anything to Lapras, but it's got Heat Wave for Corviknight, and the Doge does not want a Hurricane.
No, it doesn't. It'll probably die to it. Doge is not exactly the bulkiest. And correct me if I'm wrong. That's a Scarf Garchomp, right?
I don't. I'm not sure because it would if it's adamant it's a Doge.
Well, Garchomp's 102, Zydog's 115.
Yeah. So so Garchomp would be faster if they're both 252, but it's Jolly Garchomp versus Adamant.
Would it be?
Doge. Yeah.
Wow. Because that makes the difference. If he clicked Outrage, or Zydog is the if it's Jolly, then I don't know.
Okay, so right here, this is why the Scarf mattered a ton, because we see Corviknight just get a free roost because it's locked into Sludge Wave.
Yeah. And Garchomp.
Yeah. It is Jolly Garchomp versus Adamant. It did make all the difference because we had to see him hit Swords Dance right here.
Yeah. Yep. And Brave Bird's just not gonna cut it. Rough Skin. Recoil. And it's still not enough. Rocky Helmet, Citrus. Citrus is interesting. I'm surprised it's like Citrus over Aguav or, one of those berries that...
It is a lot more likely for Citrus to proc than the 1/3 berry.
I'm just glad they made it 1/3 and not half anymore. I felt like half was so much.
Yeah, half is so much.
But yeah.
It's basically like one kind of free soft boiled.
Which is really insane on a mon like Garchomp.
Right.
Who, even if he takes a ×4 super effective move, he could still live at 20%. Eat that Aguav berry and then get like a sub off or what have you.
Yeah, Garchomp has like kind of insane base stats, like 108 HP, 95 in defense. I think like the same as Spadef as well.
Yeah, Garchomp is definitely one of those insane Pokemon. And we keep talking about it on Inside the PFL. Dave's team is just insane. It's just scary looking. Like Coco, Garchomp, Pidgeot, Coco. Yeah, it's just terrifying.
So it's coming up soon.
The freeze.
There we go. If Dave had
and he
not gotten this lucky with the freeze on thawing on the first turn, Lapras could have done it. It would have gotten leftovers recovery up enough to tank a single outrage.
You're right. That could have been the game. If he had gotten maybe 2 turns.
He can't even unfreeze himself with Scald because he's locked.
Yeah, if he'd gotten maybe 2 turns of freeze, I think that Dan would have won the game. Because if it's doing 10% every time, yeah, you only need 2 more ice beams. That's 2 more freezes. Jesus. Then you would have been at what, like 40%? You could probably live an outrage at 40.
Probably. Lapras is huge.
Yeah, Lapras is big. That's 130 base HP. And yeah, it just keeps going. The game just keeps going. It like ended like 15 turns ago. But Lapras is clawing its way back. Could you imagine if it had Ice Shard?
Does Lapras get... Oh, it does not get Ice Shard. You're saying if Lapras could get Ice Shard, do you mean?
Wait, does it not get Ice Shard?
I don't think so.
I thought it did.
It does get Ice Shard.
Yeah.
Oh my god, you're right.
Could you imagine if he clicked Ice Shard there and won the game?
Dude.
That would have killed.
I
That
think I would
definitely
have popped
killed.
off live.
That would have been... Lapras might have been on the thumbnail instead of Crobat. But that was 2 freezes that game. Coco got frozen and Tentacruel got frozen.
Yeah, hover over Lapras. How many ice beams did it use?
10.
10?
Yeah.
Okay. So he's batting a little bit above average.
Yeah. And that is insane. Only a +1 from Dave. Very close. 33% on the Garchomp. That's about as close as it gets. Couple turns of freeze.
You have my mind spinning with thoughts of Ice Shard Lapras.
Yeah, dude. Hey, that's what I ran it versus Libo, I think. I ran like Dragon Dance, Ice Shard, Liquidation, and like a 4th move, which I can't remember. But hey man, physical Lapras. I'm telling you. I think I had Freeze Dry on it actually. I had Freeze Dry, Ice Shard, and Liquidation. But yeah, so a solid +1 from Dave, and into the next battle, which I've heard was a doozy.
Oh yeah, this is one of those matches where one side just like has the momentum like the whole way through,
Yeah.
and the other one just can't get it back.
And that's
Despite the
interesting
best efforts.
with a team that screams momentum in Thomas's. It's like, you want a
wait
U-turn,
until
you want a
find
Volt
out who
Switch, you want
wins.
to teleport? Like, you got all the pivots.
Got all the pivots, you got all the wish passing.
Wigglytuff, my favorite. I think it's my favorite fairy type. I'm pretty sure it's my favorite fairy type. Looking pretty over there. Bad Mega Audina. And
Bad Mega Audino.
and leading with Lapras on the brain. Leading with Mega Altaria versus Mienshao is a huge deal.
Yeah, because imagine if you hit D-Dance turn 1.
I know. That's what I was just thinking.
Dude.
I was thinking, how does Mega Altaria get, I believe, 5 kills this week? Doesn't it get like an insane amount?
He puts in all the work. Although the kills don't tell the whole story.
Yeah.
Because we see a lot of heat on Jack's side, like
Him
okay,
power
HP
ground.
Life Orb.
Yeah. I'm
Vileplume.
surprised that doesn't kill. With a Life Orb, I'm surprised that doesn't kill.
Yeah, that is a little shocking actually. Although Magnezone is quite big, and I know Thomas has like loved running the tanky sets, because against me he ran 252 HP. I don't know about the defense investment, but
Yeah. And honestly, like, just seeing Wigglytuff get a wish off is just nice. Because its defenses are so bad that you don't expect it to be able to do that.
yeah, okay, right here.
Bulldoze.
That was a very ballsy hard switch.
Now, I'm hoping that this is a Jack tech and not a Bic tech. I feel like that's a very big thing. Sub Bulldoze Hyper Voice.
Yeah, because Bulldoze lowers the speed, but there's a lot of flyers, so I don't know. Mega Altaria is faster than a lot of things.
Yeah. I mean, it could potentially help versus like Mienshao. If you get Mienshao at -1 and it has Poison Jab or what have you,
Oh, right.
then you outspeed it, then you can Hyper Voice it. So maybe
Okay.
catch him on a switch or something crazy like that.
Okay, so I could definitely see that, a situation where that could work out.
Yeah, because like what are Noivern or Lando doing to Altaria anyway? So
Yeah. But anyway, about that Wigglytuff, I'm surprised Thomas didn't just teleport into to Voice Pass. Instead he opted for the hard switch. Because
Yeah.
Wigglytuff would have eaten that Bulldoze all day.
yeah.
Or EQ. whatever.
And Crocodile with hidden power.
That has to be an HP ice.
Yeah, it has to be.
Neutral against Seismitoad, 2 4x weak ice.
I mean, that's just sad. If you're running hidden power on your Crocodile, dude, that's like, hey, look, you have 2 mons quad weak to ice. I'm gonna take advantage of it. It's just really funny, like, heat that this Crocodile has.
Also, I love the combination of Strength Sap into Intimidate. It just kind of puts Lando in the ground. He's forced to switch out.
Yeah, he can't do anything to Jack's team. I mean, you look at, versus Vileplume, Crocodile, like, he's just not doing enough damage. And I'm surprised that he actually gets the Scald off. This is, he just used Toxic. He has Toxic, Hidden Power. What the hell is his entire Rocks? What kind of weird Crocodile is this?
I think this almost has to be like a Bic Crook.
It has to be. And that's why it's named Ain't a Crook, son. He's just not. This is not your standard Crocodile.
Is his last move U-turn?
Does he get U-turn?
Yeah, Crook does get U-turn.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Is that... Are you sure about that?
I'm almost certain it gets U-turn, because I know Crook is, like, just great.
I mean, yeah, it's definitely a phenomenal Pokemon. I didn't think it got...
No, actually, no, he doesn't.
Pivoting.
I don't know why I thought that.
That's...
I think it's one of those, like, weird things you just trick yourself into thinking, like, you know...
You know why? Maybe because Crook's just, like, a really good lead. So, like, you just expect a really good lead to have, like, a pivoting move.
I know Joe has talked about how he once accidentally brought U-turn on Aerodactyl, thinking it just got it.
Yeah, I mean, I expect every, like, bug and flying type to get U-turn, but some of them don't.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, Rotom Fan does not get U-turn.
Gets Volt Switch, though.
This is true.
Which makes sense. Oh, man, if he had got the flinch there, that would have been huge.
And you're right in your assessment that you say that Jack basically had all of the momentum the entire game. Protect... Yeah, I guess you kind of had to protect to get a little bit of HP back. That's your Wish Passer. You got to keep things alive.
Right, and now Crook gets Rocks back up.
What is his last move?
It's going to knock off something, maybe?
I just want to know what Crook's last move is, because that set just freaks me out.
Yeah, Vileplume comes in. Vileplume actually a surprisingly good, like, anti-tank. Because it can... if you look at all the things that it wants to be in on against Thomas's team,
yeah,
like you have like Magnezone, it can be in against Mienshao, it can be in against Wigglytuff, Seismitoad.
Yeah, a really good Pokemon that's made way better with Strength Sap. Like actually put on the map with Strength Sap.
Strength Sap is, I've said it before, it's the best healing move in the game, I think.
Oh, easily. It's easily... I think that, like, Strength Sap and Wish are, like, the top 2.
Yeah, they're both S tier.
Yeah,
for
they're
sure.
both... If there was a Pokemon healing move tier list, Strength Sap and Wish would be S tier, and then, like, Life Dew would be, like, F tier.
Yeah, then what do you have left? Like, Synthesis?
Recover, Synthesis, yeah. Synthesis is worse than Recover, because, if you're in rain or sand, like the good weather...
yeah, but you get like 2/3 back in Sun.
Yeah, but if you're running Sun, I mean...
Yeah, that's right. All the grass types in Sun.
And does Mega Altaria live this Toxic? Yup.
Oh my god, it's poison.
Oh, and is it just poison? Oh gosh. And he keeps him alive. Roost on Noivern. Okay, there's like a little hope for the game. Not really, because Greninja just comes in and I believe outspeeds.
Yeah, Greninja's just waiting to Ice Beam it.
Because is Noivern 121 and Greninja's like 122? I feel like that's a thing.
No, Noivern is 123.
Noivern's 123?
Yeah, Greninja's 122.
Wow. So then Noivern just got... Or maybe that was Scarf Greninja, actually.
I don't think we ever saw it use a move other than Ice Beam, right?
Yeah, I think you're right. I'm going to hover over him right now. Just an Ice Beam. Just 2 Ice Beams. Oh, he got frisked. He is a Choice Scarf.
Oh, there we go.
That's that Wigglytuff tech for you. Frisk your opponent's items. There you go. Frisk is such a good ability. Underrated, I think. But a very, very solid +5. Very commanding +5, I must say.
Commanding is definitely the word I would use. At no point was like Jack really lost. And I think one of the only reasons it wasn't like a +6 is Vileplume getting flinched by Noivern.
Yeah, it very well could have been a +6 if Vileplume didn't get flinched. Because then you switch into like Rotom or even like Entei. Like
Entei didn't even hit the field,
he didn't even hit the field, no.
Oh man.
Like you had options in the back pocket, but you didn't even need to pull them out. I'm gonna ask Jack what that fourth move was on Crocodile. Because I gotta know. It's probably knockoff, but I just gotta know what it was. But into the next battle, where we got Big Liquid LCD versus Bobby. And looking at these two teams, I love Cradilly. Regular Muck tickles my fancy, but I don't know.
I get the feeling like during a lot of Bobby's matches, the sort of team cohesion isn't quite there.
I really like the Tapu Fini, Scizor,
Oh,
Rodriguez.
I love the combination. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think it works really with Rob's play style.
Yeah. But this is one of those games that I have not watched yet. You said you just watched it, right?
Yeah, I did just watch this. We see pretty early on that Rob lacks removal, and
Yeah.
that's sort of just along with like the general bigness of Ferrothorn and Florges.
Yeah.
Rob can't really answer.
Well, I wouldn't say that Rob necessarily lacks removal. Because, like, he's got 3 Pokemon that could run Defog.
Yes. However, we never see it. That's
But he doesn't
kind of why I said
have
that.
Wandering Spirit's hilarious because hit me
Dude,
with another power whip.
Iron Barbs. That's so sick.
Yeah, hit me with another power whip. See what happens. See what happens. And Rodriguez actually leaves, which I guess sort of makes sense. Z powers come in. Is it Z water? No, it's Z. Oh,
Z Tectonic
wow.
Rage.
What did he expect? Maybe Muck? No, probably not.
I think maybe this is just like LCD teched out how much it would do.
To Cradilly or just to anything?
No, to
Rooney.
+2 Runerigus.
Oh, okay.
Because Swampert's not tiny.
And what is this? What is happening
Oh,
here?
Z Soak.
So
That's hilarious. However, you already revealed Grass Knot, so you kind of the option to trick him really isn't there, unfortunately.
yeah, and now you're not fast either.
Yeah. So I think one of the things that kind of lacks in Rob's strategy is that he loves offensive Tapu Fini. However, he lacks a lot of things that can pivot around it so that it can get in and do work.
Yeah, and like if I was Rob, like I would be, instead of just soaking and hydro pumping, like I would have loved a defog right here.
Yeah,
Just
defog,
get rid of that.
Yeah, or even like Nature's Madness or something to chunk it down.
Yeah, on Florges, Zygarde 10, Throw, like these are all bulky Pokemon that really don't like losing half their HP.
Especially like Z Nature's Madness. Z Nature's Madness is 75% of their HP.
Yeah, you gotta wonder about the Z-Soak. I mean, it's tech. I like it. I appreciate the idea. But also, if you're running Hydro Pump as your offensive move, and you go for Z-Soak, they're gonna resist that Hydro Pump. Like,
yeah, he had Grass Knot. That was his whole plan.
yeah, but then there's
but
Florges
it's one of those
and
things where it's
Ferrothorn.
like the 2-turn combo that you kind of tip your hand too early, so it has a very low chance of going off. I think.
And does Zygarde just do it? I think Zygarde.
Yeah,
probably
Zygarde
just,
just cleans up.
Okay, yeah, that's what I figured.
Oh, Rob didn't even try to break the sub.
Didn't even try. But yeah, no, I mean, you might have popped the Z-Soak too early. Like, you look at, Grass Knot and Hydro Pump against Ferrothorn and Florges, even at +1, you're going to do like 20% max.
Yeah, and Fini was really the only answer he had to Zygarde, and after that's gone, LCD takes his first opportunity to send it in, sub, D-Dance, do everything.
Yep. And I mean, and he doesn't even break the sub. Muck, you're sad. You're a 40-pointer for a reason. Get out of here.
He's sorely lacking the dark typing.
Oh god, and rocks damage. Oh god, there's no booties. Oh god. Yeah, and that's 1,000 arrows right to the dome. That's a dead Moltres. Well, that battle went downhill fast for Rob.
Yeah, like Cradley kind of just got owned early when it could very easily have gotten in the way of, say, like, you know, Swampert or Throw or something.
Yeah, he could. Cradley definitely could have gotten in the way. Oh, Leech Seed's appreciated. Toxic would have been nice on Zygarde before he got the sub up. And honestly, like, I feel like that Z-Soak could have worked on a team that wasn't LCDs.
Yeah, maybe.
That's like cool tech, but it's not built for this particular team.
Yeah, I think in Rob's mind, he was like, oh, this is the perfect answer to Ferrothorn, right? Because I give it the water type, super effective Grass Knot, +1 special attack, will OHKO it. However, it's very hard to convince Ferrothorn to stay in against it after it gets soaked, because you got to think like, okay, he's got something to follow this up, right? Why else would he be using Soak?
Yeah. Because then you could have just used Calm Mind.
Right.
Like, honestly, and Calm Mind would have probably just been better. And it burned your item slot, but that's beside the point. LCD.
Regardless, congrats to LCD.
Yeah, with the +5. Zygarde 10, Ferrothorn, Florges. Yeesh. What a team. What a team. And into the last battle of the night, it's Libo versus Hunter. And this is I also didn't watch this one.
Oh, this is actually a very good match. So I helped Libo prep for this match.
Okay.
And there's a lot of sort of specific tech to go along with his team, which I'll kind of point out. I won't super reveal any heat that didn't get already outed.
And I love how much that Hunter is bringing Duosion.
I love it getting pursued and then taking 43, which is funny. So yeah, that was obviously for Hoopa on Hunter's side, which he didn't end up bringing.
And does Hunter have regular Hoopa?
Yes, he has regular Hoopa.
Did Hunter draft? I think he had regular Hoopa last season.
Yeah, he did. I remember.
Because I fought regular Hoopa last season. I'm pretty sure it was on Hunter's team.
Yep. That burn on Duosion is actually pretty huge. Because, with Eviolite, it's not getting any leftovers.
Is it? It is not Magic Guard. It's Regenerator. Ooh.
Yeah, it's Regenerator.
Ooh. You're right. That is pretty big. Wolf Cola. And this is not exactly the switch you want.
No, this was like half a brilliant double half. Like, Duosion, if it's staying in, has to.
What a build! Mr. Rhyme! Holy crap!
Yeah, this Rhyme was like so close to going off. Because it's got, it gets Psychic, it gets Freeze Dry.
If you kept spinning, you'd outspeed Zorora probably at +2.
At +2? Probably. Well, one of the things that I sort of assisted Libo in prepping is like, well, Scarf Zeraora is faster than Swampert in the range, so that's something you'll have to watch out for. And that, since it gets Grass Knot, Hunter might think that's just like a hard answer.
Yeah.
So we sort of crafted a Swampert with enough HP and Special D to clap back if it is Scarf.
If it gets Grass Knotted.
Yeah. You're right, yeah. And it turns out Swampert is just, his base attack is so high, you basically don't need any attack in it.
Yeah, I mean, especially in the rain if you're clicking like a Liquidation.
Yep. Okay, something else. Rain Dish on Blastoise instead of Torrent. If he was at 1 HP, he could have claimed Spiritomb right there.
You're probably right, and I'm actually surprised that Scald only did that much. Now, granted, Blastoise isn't exactly the most like powerhouse of a Pokemon, but that seemed like the investment was probably weird on Blastoise, or it was especially defensive Spiritomb.
It was, so like I think I ran the calc afterwards. That calc actually checks out for offensive Blastoise.
Okay.
It's just Blastoise has 80 base special attack.
It's only 80?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really not good.
Yeah, so the idea was that if it's like Torrent, you sack Spiritomb because it kind of doesn't do much, and then Politoed can come in and claim it.
Yeah, because
Politoed will eat Torrent, Rain.
It'll eat anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the water type move's not boosted. You got Water Absorb. If he's going to go for what, like an Aura Sphere?
Oh, he's got Drizzle, actually.
Oh, yeah, duh, no.
It's
no
just
problem.
that, like, okay, worst case scenario is, like, Torrent, Hydro Pump in the Rain. Politoed's still taking, like, 60, so he'll just kill it.
Leech Seed, okay, not a bad idea. Game's actually pretty close. Still able to be opened up.
Not that bad, but Rapid Spin gets rid of Leech Seed. Oh, and we see, like, a speed-invested Venusaur, because Rhyme was supposed to be faster.
Than a defensive Venusaur?
Yeah.
Oh, and why did you stay in?
I really don't know why he stayed in.
Dude, that's like an obvious, like, go into Zeraora. Like, if he Volt Switches, like, Zeraora eats it. If he Hurricanes, Zeraora... What kind of Zapdos is this? Is it a Scarf?
I mean, this is just offensive Zapdos.
It's just offensive? Okay, yeah. I would have went into Zeraora, like, 100% of the time.
Yeah, I think...
Because I feel like Venusaur was just too important for Politoed and for Swampert.
True. Yeah, I think that's what Hunter was thinking. Like, he needs to save Zeraora, get it in clean.
See, I would have thought the opposite. I would have thought that Venusaur is my win con. I need Zeraora to go down here, or at least take the damage.
I'm kind of surprised he didn't just go into a Doug Trio there.
And he expects Swampert to come in. Oh,
well, he's Scarf locked right now, actually.
Oh, is he actually Scarfed?
Yeah, he is actually Scarfed.
Damn, and
he reveals it after the match. And yeah, that was one of the things that I kind of prepped Libo for.
Was the Scarf Zeraora, and it's a good idea. You know, I definitely appreciate it, but Facade, Guts Facade doing to 150 base defense Diancie resisted. Yeah, that's still a lot. Oh, but Draining Kiss,
resisting both stabs.
Look at that. And then I assume this is just a +3.
Yep, because Diancie just does the rest of the thing.
Yeah, because he tries to go for the Grass Knot. It's going to do what? Like, yep. That's about right.
20 base power. 20 base power against Diancie.
Is Diancie really that light?
Yeah.
I thought Diancie would be heavy.
It's hollow or something. I don't know.
Okay, Jesus. You would think that a literal being made of rock and crystal condensed would be... And then you just Calm Mind just for the shit of it. All right, Libo. You don't need to do that. Just keep.
You definitely did not need to do that.
Just keep Draining Kissing. Like let it go down to Toxic. And Libo's like, look at me, I'm Calm Mind Diancie. Like you just got 3-0'd, punk. It's terrible. Wow.
Okay, yeah, debug 20 base power.
That's insane.
You see in the chat.
Yeah.
Stored power too.
You Sucker Punch Memento.
Yeah. So if you read through the chat, Hunter says that it's Scarf Zeraora, so that's kind of why he was forced to click Grass Knot against Politoed there.
Okay, yeah. And honestly, like, even then, you sort of see how Grass Knot is not the most viable coverage option.
Yeah.
It's not doing a lot of damage to anything else.
And it was going to do, like, 70-something to Swampert.
Yeah.
So even after Rocks, it wasn't going to kill.
You're really almost better with just, like a power-up punch. And just slamming a +1, like, close combat or something. I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know. But either way, I think that Libo just played the game really well. I think that the pivotal moment of the game was letting Venusaur go down to that Hurricane.
Yeah, I think maybe he should have switched in Alolan Doug Trio.
Yep. Because Alolan Doug Trio wasn't doing anything to anything else but Diancie anyway.
Right. Oh, and I think Hunter actually says it didn't end up even having Iron Head.
Oh, the Alolan Doug Trio didn't?
Yeah, Sucker Punch, Memento, Rocks, and Stone Edge.
Oh, Stone Edge. Wait, what? What? What a crazy, weird set for Alolan Doug Trio. But yep, so a +3 from Libo. And that brings us into trades and pickups. So right off the bat, we'll start right off the top here. Manny dropping Ditto. This is the last week. That anybody's able to make trades and pickups. Manny's dropping Ditto for Galarian Weezing.
Good. Get Ditto out. I'm a very anti-Ditto person.
What does Galarian Weezing do for Manny's
Well,
team?
he gets Misty Terrain.
He's not able to status anything, right?
It's potentially a grounded poison type to deal with
potentially. Neutralizing gas, really good ability as well.
Yep. Could potentially run Levitate.
Yeah.
I don't know if he would necessarily need that, but the option's there.
Manny's team is so weird.
Like Willow, Pain Split. It gets good coverage.
It's like it doesn't have any synergy at all, but like it just sort of does.
I think he just drafts big guys and clicks buttons when he forces you out.
Yeah.
That's sort of been what he's doing this season.
I mean, I just like looking at it. It looks strange, but like really, like most of the type coverage is there. You got your water, fire, electric, like fighting, ghost, ground.
It's sort of a polarizing team because you have like the extremely passive Licky, Registeel, Hippowdon.
Yeah.
And then you have hyper offense G-Zapdos, Spectrier.
Yeah, and I think Weezing's a nice little middle ground.
Yeah.
I think Weezing can do defensive, it can do offensive. I think it's actually pretty good for him.
It's another good coverage, Amon to cover G-Zapdos with the Fairy resist and this not Psychic resist. It's also weak to Psychic.
I think that, especially in draft, I think Ditto's a little bit weaker just because you can just run him on with a substitute, as we saw, and it just basically ruined Ditto. Ditto can't do anything.
But the counter to that is that, well, you're now forcing so many mons on your opponent to run substitute.
Yeah. It is. It's the threat of having Ditto, not actually bringing Ditto.
It's one of those mons that you're forced to prep specifically for, or else it will just ruin you.
You're right, but I think that overall I think it's an improvement for Manny's team. It's a second fairy type, but it is a grounded poison type. It does prevent some status, and neutralizing gas could come in handy at some point. Who knows? I'm excited to see what it does the next couple weeks.
I'm sure Manny has big plans.
Oh, yeah. And the only other trades and pickups being made are on Thomas's team. And Thomas is dropping Slowbro for Cuff Aggregus. He's dropping Lando T, Big Dog Lando T, for Mega Metacham. And he's making Incineroar his Z co-captain.
So I'm kind of surprised Thomas didn't make Incineroar his main Z captain for some juicy Z parting shots. Because I think, like, you're not going to run Z teleport on Wigglytuff all that often.
I agree. I had Wigglytuff as my Z captain last season, and I ran Z teleport maybe 1 or 2 times. And
last
it never
was
worked.
Crazy with the Z teleports and Z parting shots. I think almost every single team had a mon with that capability as their main Z captain.
I think that, you're right. A damaging Z move, like with Incineroar, you're almost always going to be wanting to run, like, leftovers or AV or...
I loved Incineroar with the offensive Z move. Malicious Moonsault,
that's
base
true.
190 power.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
That one put in a ton of work for me last season.
I know, I got swept by it.
I'm a big fan of offensive Incin.
I got swept by that. I don't forget that.
Lando T for Mega Metacham. I don't know how I feel about that.
I hate it. I mean, I hate Mega Metacham. Not that Mega Metacham's scary as heck, and I have to fight Thomas next week.
Absolutely.
So that's just, I feel like that's an immediate, like, oh, Jim picked up Weavile, and he has Garchomp. Let me just have a mon that can fake out Bullet Punch,
pure
Ice Punch.
power Bullet Punch you.
Yeah.
So with Thomas picking up Seismitoad, I think it sort of makes sense to drop Slowbro and pick up, Cofagrigus is generally useful, so I think that's good. And then Mega Metacham just fills 2 types Thomas didn't previously have with Fighting and Psychic, so...
Yeah, you lose a little bit of pivoting, but you gain a lot more physically, like a physical powerhouse. Mienshao still exists. I mean, he does have the Mienshao as the fighting type.
I forgot about Mienshao, you're right.
But you're right, like, in general, that's just breaking power. That's a 200 for a 200. And you know what the thing about... That's Lando T syndrome. That's my opponent has Lando T. I'm going to run Hidden Power Ice on Crocodile. Like, like you're going to run Hidden Power Ice on, like, 2 mons because of Lando T. And I think that makes Lando T less...
with Noivern.
Yeah, and he had already had Noivern as well. And Eldegoss takes damage from it. And Lurantis takes damage from it. like there's a few things that HP Ice hits. But
So yeah, we'll see how these changes shape up for Thomas.
Definitely. But I think you will see how it shapes up. I think Lando Slowbro it's just a pretty good core all around. We'll see what he does with Cofagrigus and Mega Metachan. But let's talk about the Conference Cup. Now, at the end of Week 8, Clefable has a total of 1 point. Thank you, Murphy. Thank you. And every other division, however, is in the running. 17, 16, 21, and 18. Anybody could come out on top this coming week. Because this next week is all Conference Cup.
Very, very contentious week coming up.
That usually doesn't happen. Usually it's not like that close.
Yeah, I think when we were in the same division last season, we just kind of ran away with it.
Yeah, that was the first couple weeks. We had 17 points or something like that.
Yeah.
But this time, Ambipom pulled ahead. 12 points. Yep. I mean, that's a lot.
I'll pat myself on the back for getting 2 +6s for the Conference Cup so far.
Did you get a +6 in week 2 or 4?
I +6 Rob, yeah.
Holy crap, dude. Wow, you really put in...
I got a +6 Mitch now.
You put Ambipom on your back. That's awesome. Yeah, now you have to Exactly. Ideally, we put some points on the board, but we won't.
And okay. I think Jack is also sort of carrying his division. I think he's got 10 points of...
where's he in
10 points so far? Because I think he played you and he just +5 Thomas, right?
Yep. Yeah, that's 10. Jack's carrying the Miltank division. You're right. But overall, very, very close stuff. We'll see how it shakes out.
Absolutely anything can happen.
Yeah, the top division does get their pick of the litter when it comes to draft picks, and they also get their money back. It's $5 buy-in.
Woo.
Let's talk about the King of the Kill, where things are interesting because things are looking a little bit different than they were not too long ago. Mega Absol
is closing.
Yeah. Mega Absol still 17. That's still ridiculously high, but hasn't put any kills on the board this week. Mega Altaria rockets up to second place. I mean, that was... I don't know how many kills it got. It must have been 5 or 6.
5 kills.
5, yeah.
Dragapult got 4 kills.
Yep.
4 kills with an asterisk because I think we awarded the kills on Ditto and Registeel to it.
Yeah, which I think was the fair thing to do.
Fair, yeah.
To be fair,
if many forfeited, yeah, that's fair.
Torkoal, as usual, we see Torkoal didn't come this week, so there was no chance for it to start making big plays with Choice Specs Eruptions in the sun. And Galarian Zapdos still hanging out at the bottom. Number 5, but 11 kills nonetheless.
What about my boy at number 6?
Okay, Crobat at 10. There's 2 more weeks left of the regular season. If you get another +6 with Crobat, and then 1 or 2 kills, you might be vying for the top spot. I don't know. Nidoking, 9. Garchomp, 9. Mega Pidgeot, 9. Zygarde 50, 9. But a little bit interesting. Dragapult and Mega Altaria making their way on the board is pretty cool. I like when things change. I also like how the top 4 are all in different divisions.
Yeah, that's a nice departure from Mega Absol being 1 and Nidoking being 3.
Yeah.
Both on Kyle's team.
Definitely. Let's talk then about the standings / the playoff picture. I'm gonna zoom out here. For those of you at home, you're not seeing this, but so as of the end of week 8, there have been 6 players eliminated from playoffs. Robin James, 1 and 6. Dan, Thomas, Hunter, and Mitch, all 2 and 5. Which honestly, Mitch being 2 and 5 surprises me because of how the season started for him.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised because Mitch sort of stormed out the gate with some super heat Bronzong and nasty plot
He
Hydra.
got a +6 and a +5. I think weeks 1 and 2.
Big wins.
Or maybe
and
it was weeks 2 and 3.
Petered off.
Yeah, no, I mean, it surprises me that Mitch is 2 and 5. I thought he was doing better than that, frankly. Just from the plus and how he's been playing and all that sort of stuff. M1 hanging on his season. Mike, I graced him with him hanging on to his season. Dillon as well.
The 3 and 4s, they're strictly speaking, it's possible for them to make the playoffs. However, you'd need a very specific set of circumstances for that to happen.
Yeah.
You need them to get lots of huge wins in all the 4 and 3s to start losing.
Which again is not unheard of.
It's not impossible.
Because there are a lot of people who are 4 and 3 right now.
Yep, and I'm actually fortunate enough to be the top 4 and 3 person with +18.
And so let's talk about that then. So it's Dave at 4 and 3 +12, then Murphy at 4 and 3 +13, then Manny 4 and 3 +14, Jack 4 and 3 +15, myself 4 and 3 +16, and you 4 and 3 +18. Now, of course, that shakes out a little differently because of divisions and whatnot. So Jack and I are 4 and 5 seed respectively. But because we're 4 and 3, and because other people are 3 and 4 and 5 and 2, that can change pretty much on a dime.
Right, absolutely. If Murphy manages to beat you in the final week, you could just get knocked out of the top seed, and suddenly
I could
you have
be
a worse record than
knocked out
all
of
the
playoffs
other
entirely.
5 and 4s, 6 and 3s. Yeah,
you're right, and that's definitely something that I'm not looking forward to because I don't want to be knocked out, but it might happen. And LCD and Tristan, both 5 and 2. LCD 5 and 2 +20. All of LCD's wins have been huge, and yet somehow he's still 6th seed.
That's what happens when you're in a division with Kyle. I mean,
you're right. Although he did take the one game off Kyle. That's what that 6 and 1 is. That one's LCD. So he's got the fight in him. I did play a little bit of a ruiner for Tristan, guaranteeing that Bick is now the Giraffe Rig Division leader. Libo at 6 and 1 +17 is behind you in plus, but ahead by 2 wins, which is a mountain to overcome. So if Libo would happen to lose the next 2 weeks and you win the next 2 weeks, then you're looking at the top spot in the division.
Right. I plan on winning the next 2 games regardless.
And do you play Libo, or did you already play him twice?
No, I've already played Libo. I lost to him both times.
Oh,
both
okay.
in the very nail-biter end games. I could have gone either way.
Oh, right. I remember those. And Kyle sitting
not
pretty.
Not to take anything away from Libo, of course, but
yeah, but I do remember specifically with Crawdon and Megalodino and lots of pivoting, lots of doubles and pivoting and whatnot. But this is how it's looking, and this could change on a dime. Let's talk about the schedule finally for Week 9 for PFL Season 12. And ordinarily, we would do some commish picks here, but Mike's not here, unfortunately. But we're still gonna talk about it.
We'll do predictions.
We can
talk about the matchups. How about there?
Yeah. James versus Jack. Now,
James' team is super scary on paper.
Yeah.
You've got an insane fire, water, grass core. You've got this fairy steel dragon core, with Laudia, Sylveon, Skarm. That's an insane mountain to overcome. Oh, actually, he doesn't have a fire type anymore. He used to have Infernape. That's right.
Yeah, he doesn't have Infernape anymore.
Still, though, James's team is super scary on paper, and I think if you were to play traditionally, maybe he might have an edge over Jack. However, I don't think that's in James's play style. So I think I like Jack's team a little bit more.
I think that if James is going to run guard swap Excelgor against me, I think that Jack at 4 and 3 wants to sit prettier at the top of the division. I think that Jack's going to build harder for James's team, and James is just going to make heat sets. And while I could go either way, I think my money is also on Jack just because of the implications. Like, James is already out, so he has nothing to lose.
Yep. There's a lot on the line for Jack where there's not so much on the line for James.
Yeah. Murphy versus M1. This is the same thing. M1 doesn't have really... I don't think he has anything on the line. Actually, no. M1 is 3-4, I believe.
Yes.
And
he's 3-4.
And Murphy's 4-3. Both players have a lot on the line. They really do. Wow. I think I like Murphy's odds a little bit better. Just because I think Murphy's team is a little bit better. But, who knows? We've seen M1 be able to pop off with Galarian Articuno. The Clef Key and for Alligator's also really scary. M1 has a lot of setup threats, and if Murphy, does something incorrectly with any of his walls, then he could be looking at a for Alligator with a D-Dance up, and that doesn't look good for his team.
Yep, that sure would be scary. I think Murphy's like tanky enough where he can kind of just stall out screens. However, that might just open up the window for M1 to start D-Dancing on for Alligator, like Calm Mind Agility, G Articuno, so who knows?
Yeah, and you don't want, Toxtricity clicks in overdrive, Galarian Articuno eats its weakness policy or something.
Yeah.
Behind a screen. Then all of a sudden,
And all of a sudden, like, what do you have?
Yeah, what are you gonna deal with it? And, like, Umbreon's taking at least 70% from the +3 Air Slash.
I think I like Murphy's chances a little bit better because he seems to have more sort of settled into his team. He plays a little bit more confidently. He doesn't play like I'm gonna stall you out until the end of time. So
I think that I also like Murphy's odds better, but I want M1 to win because Murphy's hot on my tail.
All right.
Myself versus Thomas, I really want to win. But at the same time, Thomas did just pick up a couple of threats. Incineroar scares me. Mega Medicham scares me. But so we're gonna see. We're gonna see.
That's gonna be a very interesting match to watch, because both of you can just go off. Like, we've seen how scary Garchomp with Scale Shot is. Meta Megacham, obviously scary. Like, what do you switch into a Mega Medicham?
You don't.
What do you do?
You really can't. I got rid of my Ghost type.
Oh, wow.
So we're going to pretend that didn't happen, and we're going to pretend that he didn't just pick up Mega Medicham before going into playoffs, but it's okay. It's fine. You versus Drac. Or no, wait, what?
Wait, what?
You versus you. No. You versus Mitch.
I like my odds a lot.
I like your odds too.
I like my odds a lot against Mitch's team.
Especially considering your team is archetypal Trick Room. Swift Swim doesn't exactly help that out for Mitch.
No, I don't think so.
You're in Trick Room in the rain, you're...
Yeah. I like what I have to deal with Manectric. I like what I have to deal with all of his tanks. I'm feeling good.
Yeah. I would put my money on you. You're 4-3. You got more on the line than Mitch does. And Mitch, right, 2 and 5s are out, right? I
believe so.
2 and 5s are out. 3 and 4s are the only one who can potentially come back. Bick versus Mike. Mike also 3 and 4 has a chance.
He does have a chance. However, I've seen Mike kind of get down on himself when prepping for a tough match. That doesn't mean he doesn't play well. However, it's going to be interesting because Mike has like a ton of like scary tanks. Like, he can kind of stall out maybe Bick a little bit. Like, Bick has Vaporeon with Wish Passing, and that's kind of the only source of recovery.
Yeah, and you know what? I look at it like this. Like, if Mike plays his early game well, then if he's late game Mike, he's going to do much better. But if he lets something go down to like a Sucker Punch, or he gets, lets Bick get like a Dragon Dance up with Dragapult, or a Swords Dance up with Mega Mawile, like, things could go downhill quickly for Mike. So I think my money's on Bick in general, just because I know Bick wants it.
Bic's a lab monster. I think I'm gonna give it to Bic too.
And he's
However,
and he's a lab
there's
monster.
a large potential for either of them to just start going off.
Yeah.
Like you
You
can't prep for Bic's heat.
Yeah, you can't. Dan versus Libo. My money's on Libo because of the level of unpredictability that Libo brings week to week.
This is a sort of a phenomenon that I've run into prepping for Libo. He kind of like automatically gets a little bit of an advantage pre-game because you don't know what he's bringing, so you kind of have to prep for both. So there's going to be some little hole in your game plan.
Yeah. And
I think I like Libo's team a little bit better though.
Yeah, and Libo is 6-1. Definitely like.
Oh yeah, he's been playing his mind out.
Something to take very seriously. He's the 2 seed right now. He's in it to win it, absolutely. And I don't think that he's gonna let Dan take him down a peg. I think Libo's got it.
Yep, I'm gonna predict Libo as well.
Tristan versus Kyle.
Oh baby.
What a freaking match. I don't know, dude. After last week, I think that if there's a list of people who can beat Kyle, I think Tristan's on there.
I think so too. One of the sort of problems I foresee, what does Kyle have to switch into Dracovish?
Rotom?
Yeah, but is
Whimsicott?
Rotom eating two? Is Rotom eating 2 Fishious Wrens?
Not with base 58 HP, probably not.
Yeah. So Kyle, that's going to be a big hurdle for Kyle to get around.
Yeah, you're totally right. I mean, he's got Sucker Punch with Mega Mawile. You get a Swords Dance up, maybe?
Absolutely, you mean?
You know what? You got Prankster Memento with Whimsicott, Prankster
yep.
Stunt Spore, Prankster, There's a few different things that Kyle can do to fight the fish.
Options. I think Tristan will be prepared for a Whimsicott that, wants to Stun Spore him. Because Tristan actually ran Stun Spore Whimsicott a lot last season.
Yeah, he knows what it does.
And he's got Chestnut to perpetually eat those grass type moves.
Oh, you know what? Chestnut does really well versus Kyle's team in general. Now that I'm thinking about all the mons Kyle has.
Yeah,
Chestnut's
I think
a pretty good bet.
And we've got 2 big Regenerator guys battling it out with Tornadus and G Slowking.
Oh god, yeah. I think
this
G Slowking wins.
Well, I mean it'll get the AV knocked off at least, and then you turned on.
Yeah, that's true. This is going to be an interesting one.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm going to put my money on. I want to put my money on Tristan.
It's probably going to be another like 90 turn game if I had to guess.
I think
However,
so
I think I like Tristan as well.
I feel like after getting knocked down a peg this past week, you got to stay in it. You got to get focused. Kyle's not scary. That's your brother.
There's the sibling rivalry aspect.
Yeah.
We know they hate losing to each other.
Yeah.
And we've seen some crazy things from Tristan. Like he ran Scarf and Tailwind on Thunderous specifically to counter Halucha with Unburden.
Oh yeah, there's definitely some things going on in both of their minds right now. I know they're on Showdown.
They're like, how do I predict for the thing that he's going to predict?
Yeah. Hunter versus Rob. I'm gonna give it to Hunter.
I think I'm gonna give it to Hunter too.
Just because Bobby has a tendency to let Mons die.
Yeah, and I don't think you can really afford to let Mons die when you're facing like Mega Venusaur and Mandibuzz.
Yeah. Manny versus Dillon. This one's interesting. Because I think both players can do it. I think Dillon has this way about the way he battles that if you're not careful, he can just sort of blow a hole in your team.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be interesting because, Dillon has really put Hitmonchan to good use, but Manny has Spectre, which I don't think Hitmonchan can really touch.
Payback, maybe? That might be it.
But I guess we'll see though. Like Manny's got huge passive tanks. Dillon has like a ton of damage, and he's got tons of like good switch-ins, I think, to a lot of what Manny is going to threaten. So it'll be interesting. I think I like Dillon's team a little bit more just because the offense is a bit more versatile than Manny's.
I think I also like Dillon's team a little bit more because even though Galarian Weezing will prevent some sort of status, I feel like Dillon has not run a very defensive game. He's run more of a offensive setup sweep, take advantage of your switches kind of game. And I think that that's exactly what you need to do to beat Manny's team. And last but not least, Dave versus LCD. I'm giving it to LCD. In my mind, it's easy.
I think LCD has played extremely explosive. I like LCD's matchup a lot.
Yeah.
But it'll be tough. Like, Coco Garchomp is nothing to sneeze at.
Absolutely. And Mega Pidgeot on top of that.
Yeah.
If he's not careful, also Cresselia. I mean, we've seen Dave, I think, I don't want to say misuse Cresselia, but perhaps utilize it too early. So if he finds that sweet spot, coming in on like Ferrothorn or something like that, get a sub off maybe, I don't know. Taking advantage of some of LCD's switches are really the thing that Dave would need to do.
I hope we see LCD bring Quillfish. Quillfish is another mon I love using.
I love Quillfish.
He's so cool.
Yeah. But that about does it for this week's episode of Inside the PFL. Coming at you some point on Saturday night. I'm not sure exactly when I'm going to be able to get this up, but it is up when you're seeing this. Drac, thank you for being here.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah. And this is a question that I usually ask Mike, but Drac, I got to ask you. Do you think that week 9, do you think it's going to be the most important week of the season?
Indisputably so. We've been over all of the close records, all the shenanigans that can happen. Most important week of the season.
Hands down. I agree. Conference Cup decided this week. 4 people getting knocked out of playoffs. You betcha. Some absolutely nuts stuff is coming up. Couple really heat battles as well. Tune into the broadcast on Tuesday night at 8 o'clock, where ideally most of us will be battling, if not all of us. Who knows? But we're going to get out of here. Thank you all for watching. Until next time.